So later this week, the Chinese foreign minister will stake out China's worldview, which should differ from Trump's fiery remarks at the UN. Let's get some thoughts on that and also find out how the international community is reacting to Trump's speech. I'm joined now by Abdelhamid Siyam. He's a former UN spokesperson and professor of Middle Eastern Studies at Rutgers University. We've got a lot to unpack. Wang Yi addressing the UN on Thursday. He's likely to sound a lot more like French President Emmanuel Macron, who spoke today as well, extolling the virtues of multilateralism. That's a message we hear a lot from Wang Yi and the Chinese president. Give me a sense of what you think he might say, and also talk to me about China and its role on the global stage as you see this U.S. president saying he's looking inward, America first.
Well, I think the Chinese has that wise policy of being slow in expressing their differences with others. I'm sure they will emphasize their own policy of promoting multilateralism, cooperation through the United Nations, solving disputes through peaceful means. I'm sure they will refer to North Korea and also call on the international community, while at the same time refusing to see a country nuclearized, but also they should give North Korea a chance to come back to the international community through a package of incentives, the way it used to be before. China will also emphasize that we should abide by international law, and it will, I'm sure, focus on the climate change and urge all countries to join. They're playing a leading role in that, and they want a big country like the United States to remain to their side in this important global challenge. I'm sure they will also refer to other scourges that facing our world, like international terrorism and wars in the Middle East, which Trump he ignored. I mean, he did not mention one word about the Arab-Israeli conflict and about the issue of Palestine, which I'm sure China will refer to that, seeing what's going on in the Middle East. So that is the very typical speech with Chinese. They will express their views in a very fashionable way, in a very concise way as well.
Let me get your thoughts on Trump's speech, because it was a fiery speech, very unlike other speeches from U.S. presidents. We've heard, tough speeches in the past. Hugo Chavez back in 2006, referring to George W. Bush as the devil. But this is really kind of uncharacteristic of U.S. speeches.
It's a very strange speech. In fact, it came to the surprise of many. It reminded us of the speeches during the Cold War, and even it went far beyond the Cold War speeches when he, a major, most powerful country, threatens to obliterate a whole sovereign nation. While he spoke about each country is sovereign and should respect their sovereignty, but he does not also allow others to exercise their sovereignty. So, I mean, it's okay to express his dispute and his support to the international community in putting so much sanctions on North Korea, but to threaten this way, I think it's a very unexpected way of dealing in international relations, and from the most important international podium, which is the General Assembly.
Indeed, very interesting indeed. Let me get your reaction to the reactions to his speech there. It didn't seem like he got a lot of applause, a lot of people sitting on their hands. How do you think this went over?
I think I saw twice. I mean, there's some applause. Maybe there a little bit more toward the end. But I thought that people were listening. They want to get to know this man. It's his first speech. They were so much tentative in listening to every word he said. They expected him to talk about North Korea and about international terrorism and about all these issues, but they did not expect him to go too far in that perspective of threatening a country of obliteration.
We're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us from New York. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.